Meet of House of Representatives underway. House to be informed about the citizenship bill sent back by the President. Deadline to register parties for the November 20 Federal and Provincial Assembly ending today. 62 parties registered at the Election Commission till Monday. U.S. prosecutors oppose releasing details about warrant used to raid Trump's home, say such action can cause irreparable damage to inquiry. And Andy Murray defeats Stan Wawrinka in the opening round of Cincinnati Open. Two-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova also in the next round. Welcome back. Now the news in detail. The meeting of the House of Representatives is currently underway. As per the agendas unveiled by the Federal Parliament Secretariat, there is an agenda of informing about the citizenship bill sent back by President Bidya Devi Bhandari to the Parliament. The President has mainly cited the need for further refining gender equity while awarding citizenship in the name of mother. Now the bill has again entered the Parliament floor. Further discussion will be scheduled on it as per parliamentary practice. Similarly, the Finance Committee report and various sections of the Public Debt Management Bill 2076 PS will be presented for decision. Likewise, the Animal Health and Animal Services Council bill with the report of the Agriculture, Cooperative and Natural Resources Committee will also be presented for discussion. The deadline to register political parties for the November 20 elections to the House of Representatives and Provincial Assembly is ending today. EC spokesperson Shaligram Sharma Paudel informed that 62 parties have submitted applications till Monday. It is learnt the ruling Nepali Congress is reaching the Commission to register the party today. The Commission started registering parties for the elections on August 7. Meanwhile, the Election Commission has estimated 10 billion rupees will be spent for holding federal and provincial assembly elections scheduled for November 20. It has learned that the estimated amount will be spent for election purposes, including security, ballot printing and the management of election staff. Election Commission also has come up with an action plan for publishing results under first past the post system of the November 20 Provincial Assembly and House of Representatives elections by November 24. Nearly 70% candidates of the local level elections held on May 13 are yet to furnish their expenditure details. The election law requires the candidates to submit the expenditure details within 30 days of declaration of final election results to the office designated by the Election Commission under a specified format. As many as 145,011 candidates representing 65 parties and independents were in the fray for the recently held local polls, while 390 of them were elected unopposed. Election Commission's assistant spokesperson Surya Prasad Aryal said the Commission is mulling to take necessary action soon as the number of candidates who are yet to submit expenses details is higher than those who submitted. Time for a break now. We shall see you at the other side with more updates. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Now the remaining updates. The Standing Committee meeting of the CPN Maoist Centre is underway at the party office, Paris Dada. The meeting is dwelling on making preparations for the upcoming general election on November 20, selection of office bearers and completion of the Standing Committee. Leaders have said that the collaboration with Baburam Patrai-led Nepal Samajwadi Party is also among the agendas of the meet. Dr. Patrai has agreed with CPN-MC Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal to compete with the election symbol of the Maoist Centre in the upcoming House of Representatives and Provincial Assembly elections. Preparations are also underway to formalize the verbal agreement in paper. Now the international update. The U.S. Department of Justice says releasing details about the warrant used to raid Donald Trump's Florida home last week could cause irreparable damage to its investigation. It wants to keep the affidavit a court document showing the evidence acquired to obtain the warrant under wraps. FBI agents searched Mural ago to find out if Trump improperly handled government records when he left office. It was the first time an ex-president's home was raided in a criminal probe. 11 sets of classified files were recovered from the search 1 week ago at the estate in Palm Beach, according to the warrant, which was released on Friday. Chinese, Russia and Kyrgyz soldiers competed in a showdown of tank driving skills at the International Army Games IAG in Russia. The 8th International Army Games IAG 2022, which kicked off on Saturday and is scheduled to close on August 27, includes a week-long tank biathlon competition, which will see 61 tank drivers from 21 countries competing for the championship on the Arabino Range on the outskirts of Moscow. With scorching sunny weather and temperature hitting at least 30 degrees Celsius, the Games organizers dispatched a IL-76 plane and placed water cannons on the ground to spray the arena to keep spectators cool and keep the clouds of dust kicked up by the tanks under control. The IAG is a series of field combat operations competitions for military personnel from Russia and dozens of other countries. Time again for a break. We shall see you at the other side with more updates. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with English News on Nepal Television, and now more from global updates. A Chinese scientific research ship whose port call was earlier deferred due to apparent security concerns raised by India arrived Tuesday at a southern port in Sri Lanka. Yuan Wang 5 was welcomed by Sri Lankan port officials and Chinese officials from the ship company at the Hambantota port. The ship was originally set to arrive August 11, but Sri Lanka's foreign ministry asked to postpone the docking until further consultations. The ministry said last weekend that the ship was given permission to dock in Hambantota until August 22. It said the two sides had agreed the ship would keep its identification systems on and would not carry out any research activities while in Sri Lanka waters. A mural that was painted in a Vermont synagogue more than 100 years ago by a Lithuanian immigrant and hidden behind a wall for years has been termed a rare piece of art and has been painstakingly moved and restored. The large, colorful triptych painted by sign painter Ben Zion Black in 1910 shows the 10 Commandments with a lion on both sides, the sun beaming down, and columns and rich curtains at the borders. Now known as the Lost Mural, it's a rare representation of a kind of art that graced wooden synagogues in Europe that were largely destroyed during the Holocaust, experts say. It's a representation of a style that was present throughout Europe, but Perelman said he has never heard of anyone bringing that style to the United States. About $1 million was raised for the project through donations from local, state, national and international donors. The Lost Mural Project, an independent secular non-profit, is still seeking donations to replicate the green corridors on the original painting that did not survive, said Goldberg, its president. The renewed mural was unveiled this summer and tours are ongoing. More updates lined up at the other side, but before that, let's take a look at the highlights first. Now the sports update. India's Football Association has been suspended by FIFA because of undue influence from third parties. The suspension means the Women's Under-17s World Cup, set to begin in the country on 11 October, will not take place as planned. India's highest court had disbanded the All India Football Federation AIFF in May and appointed a 3-member committee to govern the sport. FIFA's member federations must be free from legal and political interference. World governing body FIFA and the Asian Football Confederation AFC have met Indian football stakeholders and laid down a roadmap for the AIFF, which has to change its rules by the end of July and hold elections by 15 September. Andy Murray saw off Stan Wawrinka in a first-round battle of the seniors at the Western and Southern Open on Monet. The 35-year-old Murray edged his 37-year-old rival Wawrinka in 3 sets, securing a 7-6, 5-7, 5-7 win after 2 hours and 58 minutes on court. Murray next faces fellow Brit Cameron Norrie for a place in the 3rd round. In women's draw, 2-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova saved a match point on her way to ousting last year's Western and Southern Open finalist Teichmann in the opening round in Cincinnati. Making her 11th Cincinnati appearance, Kvitova held on to prevail after 2 hours and 47 minutes. And before we wrap up the headlines one more time. Meet of House of Representatives underway. House to be informed about the citizenship bill sent back by the President. Deadline to register parties for the November 20 Federal and Provincial Assembly ending today. 62 parties registered at the Election Commission till Monday. U.S. prosecutors are post-releasing details about warrant used to raid Trump's home, says such action can cause irreparable damage to inquiry. And Andy Murray defeats Stan Wawrinka in the opening round of Cincinnati Open. 2-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova also into next round. That's it for this edition of NTV News. We shall be back with the next one at 6 this evening. Till then, goodbye. Namaste.